If customs, classics, hot rods, and muscle cars are your dream, then the Goodguys Nationals is an absolute bucket list destination. And it's wall-to-wall dream rides. The 20th Goodguys Nationals, held at the Ohio Expo Center in Columbus, Ohio, is the largest gathering staged by the California-based association. And it caters to car lovers of all ages.
This is my 1929 Ford Model A pickup, and I got into this because my dad's always been into old cars and hot rods, and he's just been dragging me along, and it's always been the plan. I tried to build it like as traditional 50s as I could, using all parts from like 1955 or earlier. I did a lot of the fabrication work, and my dad helped me really finish it out, and the only thing we didn't do ourselves was the body and paint. Everything else we did 100% ourselves. It's a 239 Ford Y block. It's been bored out just a little bit, just to make it a little bit reliable. We got the 3-deuce Fenton intake on it with the Holly 94s. It's a truck, so I really wanted to keep it as a truck and keep the interior to a minimum. So I knew it was just going to be steel with a seat and whatever bare minimum I could do. So I knew from the beginning I had to have the wood, leave it exposed. I just really liked the feel of the wood. I knew basically from the day that we got the cab home that it was going to look exactly the way it looks now. I knew right from the day I got it that I wanted that early 50s style, and it's pretty much stuck with me to the Washington blue, to the white firewall, everything I knew right away, and we stuck to the plan. You know, part of the old hot rod feel, I had to have it all pinstriped, and I just knew that was going to be part of the plan.
The ongoing success of the Goodguys brand is due to the dedication of the association's president, Mark Metters.
It's our biggest event we do. 6,500 cars. This is the 20th anniversary. We do 2 major awards here that draw all the car builders, Street Machine of the Year and Street Rod of the Year. And you need really 3 days to go through it and check it out, because there's a lot to do, a lot to see. There's over 400 vendors. They're in buildings. There's a midway there, huge swap meet, cars for sale. You know, it all depends what you're into. There's something here for everybody. Just built that building there on the fairgrounds. It's a beautiful air-conditioned building, so we thought we'd utilize it with an indoor show. We do an award at the SEMA show. We announce the Trendsetter of the Year, which is usually a younger guy building cars. So we've done that for probably 15 years. We don't judge them, we pick them. So it's what you like. And we have different people within the industry helping us pick cars. Goodguys staff members, builders, and whatnot, and so we pick them. Best bitchin', hottest hot rod, cool Camaro. We don't get into the judging. We're just here to have a good time and pick some cars that look good and, you know, make some people happy.
This is a 1934 Ford 5-window coupe that I wanted to build to look like a late 60s, early 70s race car, where a guy would take his car off the street and take it to the track. I had to sell a 34 Ford to complete college, and I never got to build it the way I wanted to build it. And so I bought this off of eBay out of Montana, and then decided, well, I'm gonna not do it the way I would have done it then, because so much more is available now. And this car is very stout and very safe. It's got a very, very healthy engine, 693 cubic inch New Century Performance engine, 825 horse. The top is, I've chopped it 4 inches. I laid the windshield back. I put the back of the top forward. The radiator's in the trunk, so the grill is just sticking up there so you can see that big old monster engine, and it's electronically fuel injected. The custom-made grill shell, I shortened it, narrowed it, and peaked it a little bit so that it looked like the peaked firewall that I made. And I'm retired. I get to work on it all day, every day, but I've just got a lot of little innovations. I'm an engineer, and I've got things on here like a backup camera and collapsible steering column and all kinds of things that I wanted to put in a car like this. All right.
Stay tuned for more dream rides, because when we return to the Goodguys Nationals, we'll check out a pair of Titanic trucks with rat rod roots. We'll be right back. Dream Rides is being brought to you by Steel Rubber Products, quality crafted rubber parts and weather stripping. Nut Job, the ultimate detailing tool. Wizard Cooling, high-performance custom aluminum radiators. And by Dustless Blasting, it's the future of surface preparation. Welcome back to Dream Rides. The 20th Goodguys Nationals is not just for hot rods, muscle cars, and classics. There are also tricked-out trucks throughout the grounds. But few can compare to this pair.
It's a 68 Peterbilt 359. There was another one out there that was along this line, it's basically a chopped down old Peterbilt. And I thought, man, that's just the coolest thing I ever seen. I got to do it. So I found an old truck, took it to my buddy Josh here, and we started on it.
Jim brought me the truck, and I spent a few days going over it. Got back with Jim on some ideas, and this is what we ended up with.
It's a 1984 big Cam 3 Cummins, 855 cubic inch, putting out about 400 horse.
Why is it sitting on the ground? Because it looks cool. Truck rides on airbags, so when we park it, we can dump the air on it and let it all the way down. Airbags give it a Cadillac ride. That's why we went with the air ride suspension.
I read Rat Rod magazine, which, you know, kind of caters to this sort of thing. You know, just total custom built off the wall. You know, use crazy stuff to make something cool. I wanted it all bare metal, but we couldn't do the roof that way because it's got some fiberglass in the roof. And I love that Chrysler Sublime green, and thought it'd make a nice contrast to the bare metal.
I built several off-the-wall vehicles. This is one of the larger ones we've ever done. Seems to be a good way to go. Everybody likes it.
You know, I get videoed constantly. You know, people will come up on one side of me videoing, and then they'll drop back and come up on the other side, and it's just non-stop pictures and video when I'm going down the road. And thumbs up from people, you know, it's really cool.
Usually need to add an hour to every stop.
Over 100 vendors are showing their wares here in Columbus, and we caught up with an old friend with a crazy solution to a common problem.
What we have here is a lug nut cleaner. The way this is designed, it goes right over the lug nuts. Works best if you oscillate it around. But the way it's designed, it also swings out, gets that opening around the lug nuts where you can't get a sponge in there. The same one that cleans up all the automotive lug nuts. If you have a toter home or a dually, it'll expand, it goes up and cleans those as well. Something else you can do, with a squeeze you can flatten it out, so when you're washing your car, dip this in soap and water, go back through and use it in place of a sponge for lining up your wheels, cleaning those things that are hard to get to. We also added a small sock on the other end for getting those tight little nooks and crannies, hard to get places, things like interior vents, the grille on the front of your car. When you're finished, just peel the sock away. You can wash those up, put them right back in place, and they're ready to go again the next time around. We also have another sock, and this just goes right up on top of the nut job. This does not expand like the other socks, and this originally is designed as a spoke cleaner, but it works well on cables, brake lines, the grille on the front of your hot rod. It's made out of this special material so you can bend it, twist it all around, don't have to worry about killing the jaws. And then later on, if you like, you can just put the entire unit in a drill, add a little wax or polish to your rims, use this as a buffer for shining all that stuff up, make your wheels shine really nice. When you're finished, wash them up, put them back in place, you're ready to start again. And it is all made entirely in the United States.
We found another big rig truck here in Columbus that certainly has some polishing challenges.
This is a 1940 Dodge cab over, typically a 2.5-ton tractor for hauling a fifth wheel trailer. This is exactly the condition it was in when we got it. The rust, corrosion, bullet holes, the patina, it was all there. All we've done is clean it up and preserve it.
We started the green truck, you know, and then the idea is to start pouring out, you know, and I knew this wasn't going to be a typical rat rod truck, you know, so I wanted to do a true rat rod, you know, where we could do crazy stuff like the barbed wire pinstriping. While we were building the Peterbilt, I bought this Dodge, I bought the engine, basically started accumulating parts and what we needed to do this one when we finished that one. That's the cool thing of a true rat rod. I mean, you know, we've got parts from farm implements and railroad wrenches and old oil cans, theater seats, a little bit of everything.
We used Chevy headlight buckets for intake scoop on the top end of it. It's pretty much where your imagination will take you. You just have to take those components and make them work.
There was lots of things we tried them and thought, maybe not. And then we go back and come up with another idea.
We get a lot of attention. It's quite an attention grabber. It humbles me when we go somewhere and people tell me how great it is. And I can sit back and look at the crowds that are around it. And I can look at the crowds that aren't around other vehicles. I mean, people spend time looking at this, trying to figure it out. And if I can confuse them, that's great.
When Dream Rides returns to Columbus, we're going to turn our attention from trucks to a pair of unique variations on the classic Volkswagen Beetle. Stay with us. Welcome back to Dream Rides at the Goodguys Nationals in Columbus, Ohio. The sight of thousands of customs and classics is impressive, but some otherworldly sounds were also on tap at the Nitro Thunderfest. And up next, we have a common classic from the 50s with an unusual power plant.
So what we have here is a 1956 Volkswagen Beetle that has added Buick parts to it. The idea of the Berlin Buick, as we call it, comes from about 10 years ago when I had the car media blasted and I brought the car in and the guy said, "Oh, a Berlin Buick." And I said, "No, it's a Volkswagen." He goes, "No, Berlin Buick. You know, they made just as many Volkswagens in Germany as they did Buicks in America," and it kind of stuck. And then 10 years later, when I was ready to actually build the car, my builder told me that I should put, I always dreamed about putting a motor in the back, but I didn't know what to put in there. And he goes, "Well, you should put a Buick motor back there, a little 215 Buick." And it just clicked, you know? All of a sudden, I remember that Berlin Buick coming back. So we added the Buick 215 all-aluminum motor in the back and added 53 Buick portholes, 57 Buick Riviera side trim, 49 Buick dash and steering wheel. And that's the culmination of the two elements of the Volkswagen Buick being put together as one. This is something that I've always wanted, a mid-engine Volkswagen. I dreamed of it as a kid. I put together as a model. So it was kind of like that Hot Wheels mentality that I had. You know, it's just something I wanted to make full scale as an adult. When I got the ability to do it, I found someone that was willing to take it there. And my guy, Gary Brown of Brown's Metal Mods, he's out of Port Lighting, New York. Gary Brown, his brothers Luke and Dylan and Ryan, they're all brothers and they all work out of the same shop, and they made the dream happen. So I couldn't be happier with the car.
It's a 1964 Volkswagen. I don't like anything stock, and I just like cutting up things and making something a little bit different. The engine's a 496 stroker motor. It's a crate motor. It's a big block Chevy. And I got Hilborn electronic fuel injection. It was mechanical injection. I had it converted to electronic. But as far as this thing, it's just a matter of putting the motor in, transmission. I set the body where I thought it would look good, and then just kind of built it from there. I mean, it just happens. The top of the grill shell is made of the bottom half of the original VW engine cover. And the bulges on the sides of the grill shell are part of the quarter glass roof section, and then the sides of the flat sides of the grill shell are hand fabricated pieces of metal. The grill itself, I designed. It was a friend of mine's got a water jet, and I just designed this horseshoe shaped piece, and then he cut out 43 of them, and I cut them all down to fit, and we had to polish each and every single one of them first before it was all TIG welded together. And then same with the emblem on the front of the grill. I just finished that 2 weeks ago. It's a V8. It's a play off the V8 emblem, but I put the VW into it. It's got about 800 feet on it. It literally I haven't driven it anywhere. I drove it from off the trailer into here.
The temperature here in Columbus is scorching, but we found one company that has a line of products that can keep any car running cool.
What we've got going on is
for every radiator that we build, we offer 12 to 14 different shroud and fan combinations. We've got what we call non-integrated fan shroud setups, where fans are simply bolted onto the shrouding. We've got integrated setups where the fans are built into the shrouding. We've got OEM style shrouds that will bolt on, as well as what we call bracket mounted fan setups. You're maybe going for a different look. You may be looking for a different thickness of package based on the amount of room that you have available to work with. You may want to stick with the mechanical fan setup, and we've got shrouding that will work for that. You may want to use your OEM fan shroud, which is plastic or metal. That will also bolt onto our radiators, which a lot of our competition doesn't offer. The latest thing on the market and the latest and greatest in technology is the brushless fan setup. The brushless fans are extremely high torque fans, so they are able to move a lot of air through a lot of airflow resistance. And we're creating airflow resistance by putting a very high performance core out in front of it. A high fin count, a high tube count creates resistance. If we put an AC condenser out there or an intercooler, that's all adding resistance. As you add resistance, it reduces the amount of air that the fan will actually move. With the brushless setup, they remain really strong and continue to pull a significant volume of air through a serious mass of material that you put out there in front of it. But one of the other big key factors with this package is it's not only that it's extremely strong, but we're able to keep the packages a little bit thinner, usually about 1.5 inches to 2 inches thinner than a lot of the other packages that we were building with the traditional brush fan.
There's still more of the Goodguys Nationals from Columbus to come, including a pair of sweet machines sporting some eye-popping paint. Stay tuned for more Dream Rides. Dream Rides is being brought to you by Steel Rubber Products, quality crafted rubber parts and weather stripping. Duke's Chairs, custom built for you. Custom Auto Sound, the originator of classic car OEM fit radios since 1977. And by Gen Y Hitch, towing made easy. Welcome back to Dream Rides and the Goodguys Nationals from Columbus, Ohio. For the spectators, the attraction of a Goodguys event is power and performance, but many are here to enjoy some eye-catching use of color.
Okay, it's a 1930 Model A Ford, and my buddy Mark Swartzlander painted it in his two-car garage, and he had it about a month. What I did was I took a whole bunch of pictures online of old paint jobs and styles that I liked, and I got some other pictures of stuff that I didn't like. I sent it all to him, and then he drew a poster of what he thought I had in my head, and I said, yeah. I says, that's exactly what I want. Now the funny part is, he's colorblind. So I had to tell him, a couple different color combinations of stuff that I wanted. The chassis I had already painted it red, so I wanted some red in there. And then I wanted black next to the red because I knew I was doing a silver flake, so I didn't want it to look like an Ohio State Buckeye car. And then I knew I was doing the blue plexiglass roof, so I wanted a lot of the blue in the paint. And this is what he came up with. The interior we did with pearl white material, so when the sun's out, it looks like there's lights on inside the car with the blue roof and then the pearl on the interior reflecting everything. The dash on the car is out of a 1940 Chevy, and I cut it all down and welded it in, and I used it with the original Ford dash rail, so when you open the windshield on the Ford, the way they designed it was it would blow the air down on your feet. And I kept that feature, so when you're driving down the road, you can open the windshield, and so it keeps your feet cold when you're going down the road.
Car is a 1948 Mercury coupe. We bought this car in Hagerstown, Maryland. We went up to buy a Chevy coupe. Well, the builder went up with me and crawled under the Chevy and said, it's held together by the paint. No, I said, I think we'll just pass on the car. He said, I got a friend of mine that's selling a Mercury coupe. You want to go look at it? So we said, sure. I said to the guy, I said, why are you selling this car? And at that point, he looked at me. He was probably about, at the time, he was in his 80s. He was about 5'3" and dripping wet, must have weighed 127 pounds. I can't drive it. He said, because I can't turn the wheel. And he said, to be real honest with you, when I do drive it, it's a real adventure because the car is telling me where we're going. So he said, what are you going to do with it? I said, I haven't got the slightest idea. So we loaded it up, hauled it back down to South Carolina, sat on it for probably, I'd say 4 years, 5 years. Well, I really wanted to look like a 48 Mercury, but I wanted to have a real attitude. So that's why it's got the supercharged Coyote engine in it. And it will run. Believe me, the car really is, it's an attention getter. And it was built to be an attention getter too. I mean, let's face it, I'm no box of chocolates.
The Goodguys show covers hundreds of acres, and the best way to take it all in is from the Sky Ride. We also found another superb seat for enjoying custom and classics.
It's automotive themed furniture, custom made for you. And the idea was myself going to car shows over the years, and basically it was a 36 Ford that was really lowered down. They called it airbags, set on the pavement, and I liked the shape of the fender. So I kind of patterned it off of that, varied a little bit, and made a more streamlined skirt outline for the emblems to go in. So I can make it for anything. Hot rods, custom cars, foreign cars. All I need is a VIN number, paint number, your choice of emblems. So the end tables are made out of same structure, fiberglass, and they're painted to match the chairs. Whatever small emblems you want on them. You can put decals, you can put anything you want on them, but it's a 24-inch round tapered glass, or you could put a picture of your car on vinyl and I could install it on it. Say if you wanted a full package, I could do the vinyl topping on the tabletop to match your car. Some of my customers have put it in their office. I made a two-piece love seat out of them for a customer for his office. Some of them are in a guy's man cave, some are in game rooms, and so forth. And basically what I always say is you'll spend more time in this chair admiring your ride as you will in your ride.
That's all the time we have for this edition of Dream Rides from the Goodguys Nationals. But be sure to join us next week when we'll have our second and final installment from Columbus. We'll see you then.